Most parents would like their children to feel free to come to them with their problems. Then we could help them solve these problems and eliminate the pain that such problems can bring. The trouble is that these problems expose our children's self-esteem like a very tender nerve. They may be extra sensitive to criticism or negative judgment and other words or actions that seem to say that they are not worthwhile. And these attitudes and behaviors can block communication with the child as effectively as a brick wall. If you're fortunate enough to engage your child in sharing a problem, you want to guard against anything that might block communication and prompt her or him to withdraw. Communication blocks are any words or tone of voice or body language that influences a person sharing a problem to end the communication. When you listen and respond with an attitude of empathy and support, your child is going to begin to trust you with their feelings and share more of what's going on in their lives. This sets the stage for you to influence them to make wise decisions. And if you jump the gun and block the communication, you're going to have lost this valuable opportunity to offer guidance and teach cooperation. We're going to look at a communication block chart on the next couple of slides, and each communication block in the left column represents a way that parents may disrespect a child's thoughts and feelings and instead focus on controlling the situation. More often than not, these attempts are going to backfire on you. A child that's in pain needs to know that someone else feels the pain with them. The mistake that parents often make is launching into an attempt to solve the problem for the child instead of supporting the child in solving the problem for themselves. By trying to solve your child's problems, you may actually diminish their courage or self-esteem and any chance that they're going to learn how to solve problems cooperatively. Your goal should not be to provide a solution or take away your child's pain. The goal should be to offer a caring ear, support, and encouragement, and to help your child feel to find a useful solution for themselves. And the first step is learning to have a helpful discussion with your child without blocking that communication. And that step is to identify the communication blocks that you use most often. We want to be honest with ourselves. Once we're aware that we use these blocks, we have to be on guard the next time that our child has a problem and work hard to avoid those pitfalls. When you find yourself using a communication block, catch yourself with a smile, apologize, and make the change. So if the communication block is commanding, what you should do is XYZ, or hey, stop complaining. What we need to do, or what we're trying to do here, is to control the situation or to provide a quick solution. What the child is hearing, though, is that you don't have the right to decide how to handle your own problems. If the block is giving advice, like, hey, I've got a really good idea, or why don't you just XYZ, we're trying to solve the problem for the child. And the message that we're sending is, hey, you don't have good sense to come up with your own solutions. If we're placating the child, say, oh, it's not that bad, or everything's going to be okay, we're trying to take away that child's pain and to make them feel better. But the message that we're sending is you don't have a right to your feelings and you can't handle discomfort. If the block is interrogating, like, what did you do to make him hit you? Or what did you do to make him yell at you? We're trying to get to the bottom of the problem and find out what the child did wrong. But the message we're sending is you must have messed up somewhere. If the block is trying to distract your child, like, let's not worry about that, let's focus on XYZ, we're trying to comfort the child by changing the subject. And the message that we're sending is, I don't think that you can stand the discomfort long enough to find a real solution. If we're psychologizing, do you know why you said that? Or you're being oversensitive. We're trying to prevent future problems by analyzing the child's behavior and explaining his motives. But the message that we're sending is, I know more about you than you know about yourself, therefore I'm superior to you. If the block is judging, why were you doing that in the first place? Or that wasn't a very smart thing to do. We're trying to help the child realize what they did wrong, but the message is you have poor judgment and you don't make good decisions. If we're using sarcasm, like, well, I guess it's just about the end of the world, we're trying to show the child how wrong their attitude or behaviors are by making them feel ridiculous, but the message we send is you are ridiculous. If we're trying to moralize, like the right thing to do would be XYZ, or hey, you really should, whatever. We're trying to reinforce our values with our child. But the message we send is I will choose your values for you. If the communication block is being a know-it-all, everybody knows that when something like this happens, you do XYZ. We're trying to show the child that he has a resource for handling any problem, you. And the message you're sending is, since I know it all, you must know nothing. If we're trying to focus on the mistakes by saying something like, I don't think you should have said that, then the intention here is to help the child learn what they did wrong, but the message we send is there is more wrong with you than right. If the communication block is negative expectations, now don't blow it this time, or I know you won't remember to wash your hands or make your bed or whatever. We're trying to get them to do the right thing with guilt or reverse psychology. But the message we're sending is, I have very little confidence in you. Surely you couldn't get any worse. And if the communication block is perfectionism, like, well, if you made all A's, you wouldn't have to worry about it. We're trying to motivate the child to do the right thing, to do the best. But the message we send is, you're never quite good enough.